What about you, sir? Do you think the colored students will show up?
If I got anything to do with it, they won't show up. Well, I think it's a breaking point of the school integration. I just don't feel that they have a right to go to school.
On May 17, 1954, the Supreme Court case Brown versus the Board of Education was passed, which called for the desegregation of schools in America. Brown versus Board of Education overturned Plessy versus Ferguson, which proved the doctrine separate but equal to be unconstitutional. Black people in America wanted to be treated the same as white people, and in this case, they wanted to be given an equal education. Of course, many southern states didn't comply with this ruling and had to be pushed by the government to actually desegregate schools. Little Rock 9 is a nationally recognized instance of a state not wanting to integrate, causing the national government to step in and force desegregation.
I have therefore, in accordance with the solemn responsibilities and the oath of my office, taken the following action. Units of the National Guard have been and are now being mobilized with the mission to maintain or restore the peace and good order of this community. Advanced units are already on duty on the grounds of Central High School.
Arkansas's governor, Orval Faubus, was especially upset about the idea of integration and tried to implement a gradual plan which ended up not working. Despite everyone's efforts, 9 students were able to enroll into Central High School.
On September 4th, 1957, for the first time, African American students tried to enter Little Rock Central High. The night before, 9 students were informed they would be traveling to Central High School. Since the Effords did not own a phone, Elizabeth Eckford was not informed of the plan, which was to meet nearby and walk to school together with a group of African Americans and white clergymen. Upon arrival, Elizabeth finds herself in the middle of an angry mob over 300. She attempts to get to another bus stop, but she is met with racial slurs, terrorist threats, and spit raining down on her. The other 8 students hear the mob that had earlier harassed Elizabeth Eckford as they approach Central High and see the Arkansas National Guard defending the school. Lieutenant Colonel Marion Johnson, the Arkansas National Guard's commanding officer, met one of the clergymen leading the students. Johnson informs students that they are not allowed to enter school, following the directives of Governor Faubus, an explicit violation of federal law. 9 students who had arrived that day for an education were denied entry. In a press conference held that evening, Governor Orval Faubus admitted that he had instructed the National Guardsmen guard in Central High School to not allow the 9 students inside. He said to reporters that he did not see this as going against federal court orders to move forward with integration.
From the President's office in the White House in Washington, D.C., we present a special address by the President of the United States, Dwight D. Eisenhower. Mr. Eisenhower discusses the integration problem at Little Rock, Arkansas.
The President's responsibility is inescapable. In accordance with that responsibility, I have today issued an executive order directing the use of troops under federal authority to aid in the execution of federal law at Little Rock, Arkansas. This became necessary when my proclamation of yesterday was not observed, and the obstruction of justice still continues.
On September 20th, 16 days after the 9 students' initial attempt to enter Central High, a federal judge ordered the Arkansas National Guard be removed. 3 days later, on September 23rd, the Little Rock 9 attempt to enter the school for the second time. They were escorted inside through a door by Little Rock police. Though they were successful in attending school that morning, another angry crowd broke out, trying their way into the school building. School administrators sent the 9 students home 3 hours into the first school day in fear of the students' personal safety. Finally, after multiple attempts on September 25, 1957, the Little Rock Nine entered Central High for the first full day of school. After the nine were sent home due to an angry mob 2 days prior, President Eisenhower sent the 101st Airborne Division of the United States Army and the National Guard to shield 9 children as they made their way into the first day of school. The success marked the beginning of school integration as it gained national attention and shed light on the federal laws that were not being obeyed by state governments. Those opposed to school integration at Central High continued to harass the Little Rock Nine within the school, but regardless of this, 3 of the Little Rock Nine graduated from Central High that year. The following year, in the fall of 1968, Faubus closed down 4 high schools: Central High, Hall High, Little Rock Technical High, and Horace Mann, for the duration of a school year. The reasoning behind this was to stop integration since so many in the community were against it.
A group of African American parents in Little Rock filed a federal lawsuit against the Little Rock School District to get schools in Little Rock to integrate. In the case of Aaron versus Cooper, Aaron won, meaning the state of Arkansas was bound by federal law to go along with the Brown versus Board ruling. Many groups like the Mothers League were working hard to try to block the effects of Brown versus Board. People were angry about their kids having to go to school with black kids.
The following year after the event, Little Rock City schools were closed in a way for the governor to prevent further integration, though the NAACP continued to pursue the legal case to integrate Little Rock schools. After schools were closed, Elizabeth Eckford moved to St. Louis, Missouri, where she obtained a GED. From college, Eckford also holds a Bachelor of Arts in History. Ernest Green is the first African American to graduate from Little Rock Central High School. He holds a Bachelor of Science in Social Science and a Master of Science in Sociology. Green served within our government in different aspects, including working with President Bill Clinton. Thelma Mothershed, Jefferson Thomas, and Carlotta Walls Lanier were 3 of the 4 students who graduated from Little Rock Central High School, while Minnie Jean Brown Trickey, Dr. Melba Patillo Beals, Gloria Ray Carlmark, and Dr. Terrence Roberts moved with their studies elsewhere along with Elizabeth Eckford. Thelma Mothershed was an instructor of survival skills for women at the American Red Cross, and later wrote a story called Education Has No Color to share her experiences from Central High School. Jefferson Thomas served as a staff sergeant in South Vietnam. Carlotta Walls Lanier served as president of the Little Rock Nine Foundation and is a member of the Denver chapter of the Lynx Incorporated and the Johnson Legacy Incorporated. She is also the author of A Mighty Long Way, My Journey to Justice at Little Rock Central High School. Minnie Jean Brown Trickey continued to aspire with her spirit of peacemaking and justice advocacy as a motivational speaker, later becoming the subject in the documentary Journey to Little Rock, The Untold Story of Minnie Jean Brown Trickey. Dr. Melba Patillo Beals has a PhD in International Multicultural Studies and has written 4 books based on her experiences at Central High School, causing her to receive the Robert F. Kennedy Book Award. Gloria Ray Carlmark joined the ITT Research Institute and worked in the NASA Automation Center. Dr. Terrence Roberts has a PhD in psychology, becoming department chair of psychology program, and presents seminars on a wide variety of topics. He's also an author of 2 books reflecting his experiences at Central High School. For their contributions for social justice, they have all received various awards which provide appreciation of their work, such as the NAACP Spring Garden Medal to the Congressional Gold Medal.
The events in Little Rock attracted worldwide attention to the civil rights movement and can be seen to have directly influenced the Civil Rights Act of 1957. The Little Rock Nine have been referred to as a catalyst to the civil rights movement since they paved the way for other African American students to have equal access to education, as well as showing what can be achieved if one peacefully fights for it. In addition, the Little Rock Nine proved that desegregation could be peacefully achieved if there was enough support from the government, and that all races belong in classrooms together.
And I think that for us to tell these stories more often than not is very key. All of these sort of things that young people should really know about to understand why they're in a classroom with other kids that don't look like them. And they think it just is this way and it's supposed to be this way, but there were many things that took place to get to that point, and I'm part of that. and I'm proud of that.